everyone has a personality matrix. By personality matrix, what I mean is every person that knows you knows a different version of you. So your parents, your brother, your sister, your partner, your friends, your distant friends, your acquaintances, your work colleagues, your manager, your subordinates, people above and below you and around you all know a different version of you based on what you do with them, what the relationship is like, the power dynamic, and all kinds of different situations, different variables. You got inputs and outputs. And what I realised was that a lot of the best people that are most successful, when I'm studying them, when I'm analysing them, I'm trying to look at what are they doing differently, I realise that large portions of them are professional at all times, and they keep it really 100, keep it cool. And so, for example, a professional compared to an amateur, I think it's a mentality. A professional will get up and do whatever is required of a professional, whether they feel like doing it or not. Relative to an amateur, right? An amateur will find all sorts of excuses and reasons not to do something. And the whole thing about being professional is having a code of ethics, being focused, being driven, but most importantly, for yourself and your clients, being able to do what is required whether you feel like it or not. And that's really interesting, because I'm going to turn up every day and I'm going to work, and I'm going to work my hardest, and I'm going to be impartial, so I'm going to give an advice or a voice, but I'm not going to take any emotional stances, and I'm going to try to advise the client or the person in a way that a third party person who's not me, someone else, can pick up the same situation and come to the same conclusion. I try to be objective and be factual, and I think nowadays people don't really discuss critical thought or thinking. What is the reason for being objective? What are the facts? What can you measure? What can be known about this from a impartial third party perspective, and we can still agree on it. And that's where really the truth lies oftentimes, is that there is an emotional feeling, a sentiment, a dynamic of what people are feeling, and that's based on their perceptions. And their perceptions are based on the way they see the world and the information that they're getting, and how they internally maybe surrounding them, what the situation is, and what's going on in and around them. And there's a lot of misconception, specifically when you first start working as your graduate surveyor or your graduate trainee, or a junior in a company, and you're doing all the dog's body work and doing everything and anything, and at the time you don't know the value of half the things you're doing. And to be honest, they prefer to keep it that way because they can just get as much work out of you as possible. You don't realise until you've had 10, 20 different reference experiences for the same thing, what is it that you're doing, how it slots into the wider organisation, what's going on with that particular item or thing. So I find it really fascinating actually that everyone goes to work, everyone's working. I'm driving to work now in the morning, as you can see in the background. All you can see is cars on the way to and from work. You see everyone just running, if it's early doors. Everyone is on their way to some sort of employment or working, where they're selling their time for money. They're selling the time for money in the open market. And a lot of the time, no one sits there and tells them or communicates with them that being a professional is about turning up and doing the work, whether you feel like it or not. Just turn up and do the work, do the thing. And I have a couple of different rules, things that I try to implement, and a lot of these have come from other self-help, self-development people. And for example, Brian Tracy is a very well-known self-development person, and he's done a lot of books and podcasts and audio books and whatnot. And effectively what Brian says is, if something takes you less than 2 minutes, do it immediately, right? And he talks about the reason why you do something that lasts 2 minutes immediately is because what it does is it allows you to reduce your to-do list and keep on top of your list, so it keeps it trimmed down. An example of this would be if I just eaten food or just had food and I need to wash up, I immediately wash up, I just get on with it. The same is at work, so if there's an email that needs to be sent, or a PDF that needs to be sent, or something needs to be scanned or downloaded or uploaded or reloaded or renamed, or any kind of wide combination of scenarios. It less than 2 minutes, I'll just jump on that, do it straight away, and that way I don't get this long list of things that always need to be done. I'm always doing work, I'm always trying to get on top of it. It's just like, as it go along, when I say 2 minutes, I'll probably mean 5 or 10 minutes, but what I mean is if it's a short task which is insignificant, which will reduce my my mental RAM or the focus I'm giving things, I will just jump on that immediately. And what this helps me do is, this helps me to organise and structure and prioritise my work, so I can do what's urgent and do what's important, right? So that's one thing that he talks about. Another one is the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your work, or the results of your work, will be put out by 20% of your actions, and this is true across most things in life. 80% of your health goals are going to be filled by 20% of your actions. 80% of your financial goals are going to be filled by 20% of your actions. And it's called the Pareto principle. And I think Pareto is an Italian mathematician who was studying plants and nature, and he was trying to look for rules in why things happen the way they do and how they happen. And what we're talking about here is, if you focus on the 20% of things that actually move the needle, you're more professional because you're more effective. What you're doing is having more of an impact or an effect on the work that you're trying to do, or your workplace. Now, if you're a quantity surveyor, you might think about, what are the most important parts of my day-to-day role. A lot of this might be in and around trying to focus on payments, getting payments done so that subcontractors get paid on time, and that therefore they keep performing at a good pace. And you're also within the Housing Grants Act, you're making sure that you're on the right side of the law, you're playing by the rules. And or payments, procurement, so just starting a site, you've got to buy the packages. When you buy the packages, it's about what goes into the different items in terms of the scopes, to ensure that you have minimal variations after, and how to minimise movements and stuff like that. Within my career progression and my job, there is 20% of items that are moving 80% of the needle, and it's important that you think about in life what the relevant items are which are affecting your needle, or what's actually moving the needle, right? When you think about things, anything that you need to get done, do it immediately within, if it takes less than 2 to 10 minutes, you do it straight away. The second one is you focus on the 20% of things that actually move the needle. And another one for me as well is being professional, is having a set of impartial ethics, looking at things impartially from a third party perspective, and trying to remain unemotional. So sometimes you're dealing with a client who's emotional, right? Maybe they're having an argument with their partner or their wife at home, maybe they've got personal issues going on, maybe they're feeling powerful, or some sort of strange thing where they're trying to take out on you some upper hand, and just give them back the power. It makes it a lot easier, because suddenly you're not trying to power control, you're not looking for a dynamic where you're winning some sort of weird egotistical battle which has no real positive outcome with someone who is quite being shallow. Basically, they're being stupid about it. I think it's quite important to make sure that you focus on being professional in that sense as well, and don't be emotional, let them be emotional, and you just remain cool as an ice cube, right? Remain chill at all times, and that will help you to get what you want from the relationship as well, because effectively what you want is, you want to be paid. You want them to pay you for some sort of professional, legal, technical, financial advice, some sort of specialist thing that they don't know, which is what they're paying you for. Or same with training, same with the gym. It's just turning up, doing the work, being effective. If anything needs doing it immediately. Focus on the things which actually matter to you. Focus on the things that actually matter to you, and you try to get something positive out of it. So a lot of the time people talk about being a professional, but they don't really understand what it means, and certain things you have to learn yourself. What I found was, if you are person who goes to work, when they go to work, they're going to work flat out all day from the moment they get there to the moment they go home. And then you've got the second person who goes to work and works 2 hours solid a day, spends 15 to 20 minutes an hour at the coffee machine, goes to 3-4 toilets, right? Not there's anything wrong with that, but you just spend as much time nattering with the co-workers. Person A and person B on their CV have the same amount of time. They've been at the company for the same amount of time, but person A has probably got 4 to 5 times more real life experiences than person B, even though the time element of that is the same. And that's something where it's not really allocated effectively in the sense of resources and packages and all the rest of it. So I find it really interesting, productivity wise, that people only look at the time that you spend in the job on a CV. They don't look at your skill sets. And then that's the other part of where age comes into it. If you're young and you're doing very well for yourself, you're doing well, people assume that you shouldn't be there, you're underqualified, you don't have the skill set, you don't have enough experience, you're a bit green and all the rest of it. But they don't understand when you run laps around them because you've got energy still, that they suddenly become your friends. So these are some of the things that I wanted to share about being professional. And turn up, do the fucking work, focus on what you have to do, pay attention, don't be emotional. If it needs doing, do it quickly, do it immediately. If it takes you less than 5 to 10 minutes, do it straight away. And be unemotional, be objective. So when I say be objective, be factual, and act as if a third person picked up the same item or package. They can make sense of what you're doing or what's going on. And these are the things which will enable you to really ensure that you're getting the most out of it, your employer's getting the most out of it, your friends and family and people around you are getting the most out of it. So everyone around you can get the most out of it, and by giving other people what they want, you'll find quite realistically and interestingly you'll get everything that you want. So yeah, these are some of the beautiful things about learning and growing and having a growth mindset and being professional. Have a great day, everyone. I hope this video helps you in order to be a more professional person in the workplace and in life in general, and you get all the things you want, and you know that you're capable and you're willing and able to receive and achieve. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching my video. Stay tuned because I'll be dropping some more videos soon. So